Hello, ladies and gentlemen, those between and beyond. Welcome to, well, we don't have a name for this yet.
No.
It's a podcast. We're going to talk about games, kind of focus generally on news and whatnot, but it's going to be about stuff that we like. So if you like what we like, then you should stick around and listen. Today we got a couple things lined up. We are going to go on a fanatical conspiracy related to Call of Duty Zombies. We're going to chat about Stardew Valley. Cult of the Lamb, a little bit on Marvel Rivals and some Elden Ring stuff. And if those sound interesting to you, then you should hang out and listen. We've got me, Kiro, today. Then we've got Elle with us.
Hello.
And we've got Jack.
The
Oh
what?
my god, he's revealed. It's
Do you think we'll reveal that joke one day?
I haven't said it yet.
not direct, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
It's all right. Nobody knows.
All right, so I'm going to get started on this because I'm enthusiastic to talk about this. We're going to
Yes.
start off with a little bit of context for Call of Duty Zombies. So, Mr. Raffle Waffles is a zombies YouTuber that in the Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4 era was perhaps like the most influential zombies Easter egg how-to kind of guy. He was also really well known for compiling as much information about smaller Easter eggs into easy consume videos so that even the common player could be aware of deep lore. He also was really, really big into doing ciphers. Back in the day, Black Ops really liked to hide hidden messages in places, hidden behind code. He would really organize people to do this. During Black Ops 4, there was a lot of issues with crashing in the game. And for Easter egg hunters, back when they did not provide you the how-to from the get-go, that slowed down the Easter egg hunt a lot. People would get really far into it, crash, have to redo all their progress on stuff that they didn't even fully understand yet. Mr. Ruff Waffles created a video complaining about this. He also complained about some other things that were going on, and seemingly from that point on was blacklisted from any future partnerships with Activision. They simply stopped contacting him. He was not invited to any more events, and he was not contacted for partnerships in relation to zombies stuff at all anymore. So after Black Ops 4, zombies changed pretty heavily. Easter egg hunts were reduced from insane quests that spanned both tiny bits of lore and hidden game features into open world and guided quests that held your hand through the entire thing. To give a perspective on almost the ARG level of those Easter egg hunts, Jason Blundell, the creative director at the time, blinked in Morse code during an interview once to give secret information about a new zombies map.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
lack of this level of interaction since 2019 has made for some real big disappointment in the zombies community. Early on, the Easter egg hunts were a huge thing. Like 6 to 15 different parties of 4 people would get on every day and stream all day trying to figure out what the Easter eggs were in these different games, because there was no hints to it other than a man during an interview blinking in Morse code,
Which is awesome.
which is fucking
It's so cool.
amazing. Like, that's so cool. Anyway, cut to July of this year. Mr. Raffle Waffles is sent, I'm going to start calling him Milo now, by the way, that's his real name. Milo is sent what looks like a genuine Black Ops 6 zombies teaser from some people in the community. After making some comments on it, almost immediately confirmed by, I believe it was Charlie Intel, who is now like considered a real source for Call of Duty information, confirmed it was not real in a Twitter post.
Yeah.
And then devs in the comments of the Twitter post started saying cryptic shit. Milo asks Kevin Drew, a current associate director focusing mostly on Call of Duty Zombies at Treyarch, and says, hey, like, who do I believe? Is this real? Is this a thing? And Kevin Drew responds with simply, am I even who I say I am?
Okay.
Milo goes, okay, I'm not believing Charlie Intel. I'm going to start a hunt. He looks through the leaks. He finds some secret codes. He finds a series of websites that start to get ratherly culty. And then he finds a website that seems to specifically be a warning for whoever finds the website. He's on stream, when he gets to this website, he hears a noise behind him. He gets up to explore. The lights go out in his house. He walks out of the room, and the stream ends.
That's
Okay.
sick.
Uh-huh.
Fire. A few days later, he posts a video where, upon going outside after the stream, he ends up on the roof of his apartment building, and there is a Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies-esque cipher written in chalk on the roof of his building.
Oh, that's cool.
He cracks it. It leads him to a like a particular latitude and longitude, which lines up with a shop for, I think, like meat, essentially like a meat shop. I think it was shawarma. And he's like walking down the street, and a guy stops him on the street and like tells him to come into his shop. And he goes into a bike repair shop. The guy says, "I've got an appointment for you, Milo, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." The guy then takes him in, teaches him how to repair a bike, and then goes, "Fantastic. It was nice teaching you. Have a nice day." Milo walks out and goes, "Well, that was fucking weird." And then he turns around, and the guy's standing there holding a briefcase going, "You forgot your briefcase." He goes, "I didn't have a briefcase." He's like, "No, this is yours." He takes it, posts another video a few days later. It is filled with travel and survival gear, essentially a bike repair kit. It was all loose items, but essentially a bike repair kit, and a plane ticket, suspiciously to the same city that the next Call of Duty event is being held at. So now this is not really news, but obviously there's a lot of theory crafting going on in the community. My standing theory is that Black Ops 6 is trying to come back with a bang to old school zombies like Easter egg content.
Yeah, for sure.
And thought, what better than to take one of our greatest supporters when we were doing that and bring him back into the fold. And obviously,
Right.
I don't think anyone snuck onto his roof and wrote in chalk. I think he did it himself prior to the
Right,
stream
right.
and
Oh,
then went out and
definitely,
recorded
for
that,
sure.
but he is working with them. But this marks like a really, really cool time in Call of Duty Zombies, like kind of like a return to form. Because they've talked a lot recently about how they are trying in the newest Call of Duty to return to some old mechanics that people liked from older Call of Duties that have been removed in recent days. And they provided none of that explanation for zombies. They kind of just like teased a little bit of zombie stuff and then made that comment and then really didn't show how they were doing it. But when we look at like multiplayer, they are going back to old multiplayer mechanics that apparently people really enjoyed. So
Interesting.
it makes me hopeful.
Yeah.
But like there is a amount of insanity to Treyarch zombies that was what was loved by the community. Everything was partially ARG-ified to a degree. Jason Blundell made Easter eggs that he knew could never be solved simply because he wanted to test the limits of our ability. And this is just a fun return to form, I guess, if it is.
It's kind of interesting how insanely hard the zombies is. I'm not actually sure how popular it is because I'm kind of out of the scene entirely, but I would assume that a pretty large chunk of their audience like plays a lot of zombies.
Yeah, and a big part of it is that a lot of them play old zombies because newer zombies isn't the reason we started liking zombies. Like we haven't had round-based zombies since Cold War. And Cold War held our hand through the entire thing. Like, I mean, I played it with Al. Like, like there was no explanation needed. There is a notification on your screen telling you what the next Easter egg step is.
Yep.
That didn't happen in the old games. It was like, oh, you have to throw a grenade into this hole on these particular rounds, interact with this random piece of tape on a shelf, and bring it to a thing. And
I remember when like playing with my old best friend, he was so into zombies, and there would be a time where we missed her and he'd be like, fuck, can't do the Easter egg. And I'm like, what? Like, that was so long ago, though. And at like 14, 15, like, I didn't even realize the effect of it until Kirill told me about all this the first time. And I was like, oh, it gets deep, huh?
It's astoundingly deep. I mean, there were like hints in the old Easter eggs, but it didn't lay it out for you. I mean, Horizon Draha, which is my favorite map, like oh, you need the wolf bow. Like, you make an elemental bow that has a wolf in it, essentially. And you kind of get the idea. You pick up the original thing from this pedestal. The pedestal has two wolves next to it. One of them is the two wolf skeletons, rather, and one of them is missing the head. Okay, I need to go get the head of this wolf, presumably, to do at least some part of this Easter egg. And that hunt was just so much fun, and we're getting it again. In Mob of the Dead, map that takes place on Alcatraz, there is a cipher that is unsolved. Jason Blundell went out saying that he thinks that it is impossible to crack. Presumably it is under up to 6 to 7 levels of like ciphering, which at that point, like, it's almost impossible for you to know where to start, because once you start, like, when you plug it into a cipher, it gives you more nonsensical stuff. If you plug it into another cipher, it gives you more nonsensical stuff. So it's like, where is the point where this is, like, there's no way to know when you're on the right track, and there are hundreds of ciphers that exist. But there is an active Reddit community to this day that works on trying to solve that cipher. And now a whole new Discord was created when this initial information was leaked to Milo, that was just trying to decode it for him and help. And there's this huge sense of community that kind of spawns from the idea of hunting for Easter eggs. You know, like, this is a community thing. And we're kind of getting, like, even if the games aren't perfect, you know what? At the very least, I know that they're trying something that we know we like.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the coolest part, is that they've kept up with something like that, because that's not just something you kind of just do, you know. It takes a lot of work to put that much cryptic shit like in a game for people to find out.
It's super. It takes a lot of work, and Jason Blundell was a madman who blinked in Morse code. And like hinted to like, there's only one Easter egg that he ever told people about, like, directly. And that was when we were on Black Ops 3. He referenced an Easter egg that was in World of War. So at that point it would have been like 8 years prior, to be like, you guys missed like one of the simplest things ever. And everybody went, what? Solved it in almost 20 minutes. And we're like, are we dumb? Like,
in the age of the internet now, how long do you think, like, if Black Ops 6, like, whenever it comes out, how long do you think it will take for everything to be figured out?
I think part of it depends on, now I don't know the structure of Treyarch right now, but if Kevin Drew seems to be one of the lead guys on Call of Duty Zombies. I think it entirely depends on the insanity of the people who are in charge. Because there are two kinds of things to do here. In Black Ops 3, I believe the fastest Easter egg hunt happened in 3 days. The slowest one was an 8. Black Ops Cold War Easter eggs got solved in less than 3 hours for all of them. And so I think a big part of it is, like, you can make a hard Easter egg. Revelations, the last Easter egg of Black Ops 3, was difficult, but it also was a little bit nonsensical. So that one, like, that's kind of a bad example of a good of like an Easter egg, you know what I mean? Because it kind of requires you to do dumb stuff like throwing mines into these random holes around the map, you know, with no reason for why you should do it. But even if it takes a day for us to crack the first Easter egg because of the way that the community works, a day of a ton of zombie streamers streaming together, people jumping between all those chats, putting things in chat, being like, hey, have we tried this? Like, that fervor is good. I think they're like, it entirely depends on how ham the creative directors want to go with this. But I think that even if it's the easiest Easter egg we've had in a long time, but doesn't handhold you your way through it,
Mm-hmm.
that's a win. That's a win for us.
Right.
Because that's what everybody wants. Like, now there's going to be some people who are out there like, this is, oh my god, this Easter egg was so easy. Like, they're not doing anything the way they used to do it. No, they're trying to return to something they haven't done in literally 6 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I'll take it. I'll take it.
I think that the oh man, I think that's it's kind of weird that Call of Duty has something like this. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I
think it's cool as fuck.
No, it's super cool. I'm just thinking about like all the other corporate bullshit that happens with like Call of Duty, and like the fact that zombies is even like a viable thing that they continue doing is kind of crazy.
I mean, it was a game mode birthed out of people taking the burning Nazi animation from World at War and going, that kind of looks like a zombie, and them creating an in-house game mode that was just for them, and a higher up being like, put that in the game, you know?
Yeah.
It has always been a passion thing, and then it kind of fizzled out and became a money grab. And it's possible that it could be a passion thing again. And that's when zombies is good, when the people are passionate about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's definitely one of the cooler parts. I mean, like even when I played 3, like the fact that they even had like separate, like the first stage that you're introduced to, the amount of attention to detail for a lot of it is like, maybe that wasn't even the most passionate part of it, but it looked definitely, the game devs were actually able to be creative with things.
Yeah. We
cool.
all know that's where games shine too, is when people are actually given creative liberty.
Speaking of creative liberty and passionism of games, can I talk about what's happening with Stardew?
Yeah, you
yes.
Okay, literally this happened on the 22nd, all right? And I'm happy this is happening, but people are like, he's only doing blah, blah, blah. I'll explain what's happening.
Yeah.
So the creator of Stardew, Concerned Ape, we know him. He's a chill dude. He's been giving everything out for free with Stardew, and people have been, and his recent backlash has been, with the recent update, he only uploaded it to PC instead of both at the same time like he was doing. Yeah. And so people were like, well, why? And he didn't have an answer or anything for like that. But someone, he apologized about it, saying like, listen, my man, sorry it happened, blah, 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 blah. And then someone tweeted, as long as everything you add is completely free with a bunch of new content, etc., people won't complain for the wait. Thanks for your dedicated love for your game. And he responds with, I swear on the honor of my family name, I will never charge money for a DLC or update for as long as I live. Screen cap this and shame me if I violate the oath. And a lot of people, like 75% are like, hell yeah. And then other people are like, it's only because he's rich. And I'm like, but he loves his game. He loves his game, like dedication to his game and his other chocolate game. I don't even know that game, the Chocolatier game. Yeah. I don't know the name of it because I only play Stardew. Whoopsie. But
oh no, he's giving free updates because he's rich.
No. Oh no. That's crazy.
Man, I can't believe this guy's using his money to benefit the community of the game that he made. That's weird.
I didn't expect our podcast to become me touting communist jargon so quickly, but
it was gonna happen. Just not. It was
gonna happen eventually. But like, there is a point where when he, this makes me respect him as a person, like not just as a game dev, as a
huge.
He has gained the wealth that he needs to survive, and has not abandoned his passions that other people are now also passionate for. Fantastic. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, when you start making that much money on something that I mean, it's still selling like crazy. And I mean, he filled in a niche that was kind of underappreciated at the time. As just like, yeah, he's doing what he loves and he's made money off of it, and he's going to keep making money off of the base game for a very long time as people keep buying it. So why not make it for free? And the people who are like looking at him like, "Oh, you're rich, so like obviously you're gonna do that. Oh, like obviously you're going to make it
well,
free.
would you rather pay for it?
Yeah, Activision is rich, and you still get charged for a $60 DLC every 3 months with Destiny. So
Yeah.
like,
I'm talking about.
this is a win.
Yeah, and the best part about Stardew, or at least I would honestly say this about most indie games, they don't need a lot to stay afloat. Like, obviously the devs need profit, but like in terms of DLC and what they need to charge for DLC, it's really not that much of an investment, like, for them. You know?
So a lot of people were also saying, and I think this, I want to know what you guys think about this. A lot of people are saying, well, maybe he's just saying that because PC is now only going to get updated first, because I'm sorry, I think it's easier to upload stuff, especially if you started the game in PC, to code it and everything in there first and then figure it out for everything else. From what I don't know a lot about game debbing. Trust me, I don't know shit.
No, yeah.
But
He
like,
hired a separate team to do console and like localization and all this other stuff.
People are saying, well, I guess he wants us to buy his game again, so I have two things on two different devices, because people are getting upset that the update is happening like a week later before they can play it on their console while PC players are playing it. And some people are like, I don't mind giving him more money now. And some people are like, well, now he just wants me to buy his game on a PC or something.
So to clarify, he's still releasing the game, but he's still releasing the updates on other things. He's just doing it on Steam.
It's just and people are just upset that it's late now because of what Jack said, the company that's doing all the coding for the console devices, you know?
It's not even just that. Like Warframe had a gap between their releases for a while because Steam pretty much just makes sure that what you're putting up isn't a virus.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like Xbox and PlayStation actively review your game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like an hour period between a Steam game going up, and there's like a 3-day period between an update happening for Xbox or like PlayStation.
So I'm actually reading some of Reddit stuff, comments from now. Like, I'm just getting people's opinions too. And one person said, I imagine he just doesn't have to. The dude could coast on the sales of Stardew for the rest of his life. Yeah, he's constantly working on making the game better. Dude is an absolute chat. And someone responds with, yeah, I mean, he probably made enough money for the rest of his life within the first month or so, but it is still nice to see someone not motivated by greed. A lot of our problems are caused by the wealthy screwing over everyone else just for a little bit more money. Thank you, Concerned Ape.
No, I do understand. I think for the most part, you could probably just do parody releases. Like, if you could just wait a week.
It's true.
You know, just to make sure everyone's playing on the same day. At the same time, it's a fucking week. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I could really care less. Like, unless it's like a multiplayer game in the case of like, hey, this is a limited time thing and PC players get it first and you're not allowed the same amount of time. Yeah, I'd be upset about that, right? But isn't like, it's not even like Stardew changes that much.
Yeah.
From update to update. I'm not exactly sure. Like I guess there are people that like do 1 billion playthroughs, and have been for the past almost 10 years now. But that just doesn't seem like it matters, you know. That's definitely a matter of people getting upset to be upset.
Yeah.
You do also get the benefit in like on Steam, like with your games. If you want, you can roll back the update. So that week ahead, like doesn't like if the update comes out and ends up being totally trash, people can go back and play the old version.
Yeah.
While on Xbox, if it comes out and it's total trash, you're stuck now. So I think there might even be a part of it. Now, obviously, I'm not a game dev, and I'm not in Concerned Dave's mind, but like it's essentially a week-long beta.
Yeah.
Like, let's make sure it works, and then I can get the real version out to or like the full version, fixed version to Steam at the same time as I get the actual version out to Xbox and PlayStation, and have that
Yep.
already be fixed and good to go. There are many benefits to what he's doing,
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
other than apparently annoying some people. You know?
Yeah. It's really not that deep, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I am happy that Stardew's still happening. I'm still surprised it even gets updates at this point. I'm gonna be
He
honest.
loves that game, man.
I played a lot of it, but like I haven't returned to it, and I don't really have a real reason to return to it. But I am happy that it's still like
I don't know.
literally the
big
only good
update
farming
coming.
game.
I don't know. Big update coming. Kind of big, which is why everyone was like, "Is this gonna cost money?" And he's like, "No."
The Gamer
Yeah.
Hour farm? Oh my god.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Wait, we can figure out how like to get all 6 of us in.
There we go. I'm sure there's a mod for it.
There
yeah,
is.
there is.
There is. Kira,
Has
we
been
can get
for
married in
many years.
Stardew.
Yippee!
Yippee!
That's it.
Yippee. What you got, Jack?
Yeah. And Marvel Rivals.
Uh,
no transition there, just Marvel Rivals. It came out this weekend. Well, not came out. It's
was
in
it the beta? It was the beta, right?
Yeah, it was the beta. Yeah. I mean, it's really more
Guys
of like a
have
trend of
fun.
everything though, because like Marvel Rivals beta came out, and it kind of reminded me about how screwed we are. We
Oh.
are like in terms of like hero shooters and stuff, right?
Mm.
Because we're about to, as Xylon pointed it out not too long ago, that we're at the exact right time for a new hero shooter to come out. Remember when we like all played Paladins for like a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of like that, right? And you know, we always return back to Overwatch. And I'll be honest, I still don't think that any hero shooter has done what Overwatch has done in terms of like game design. Even though I don't like this current state of Overwatch, it's still the best hero shooter out there. And playing Marvel Rivals just again it makes me think about like, man, this long and I still don't think it's as good, which is crazy. Now some people are going to enjoy it way more. Like I know that some people enjoy Paladins way more than Overwatch, right? But it's interesting to think that like after all of this time, there's still I still don't think that there's a hero shooter that competes, which just sucks.
Yeah.
Because Blizzard still has like no reason to change anything. You know?
Do
what
you
I mean?
think that it's just not better, or do you think it genuinely doesn't compete? Because I mean, people get pretty hyped over games and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
of
like,
course.
the quality of Marvel Rivals seems, I mean,
Through the roof. Yeah.
no shame to Smite devs. I love Smite to death, but like the quality is so good in my Marvel Rivals comparatively. You know, so do you think that it is competition enough? It doesn't have to be equal or better, but do you think it's enough competition to put a little bit of flame underneath Blizzard's ass for Overwatch, or no?
We'll have to wait a year and see what happens, because I bet that the hype is going to go through the roof, and then 6 months later, people are going to start seeing the cracks, and then not too long after that, you're going to get the huge fall off that every other game has,
Right.
because like all these people trying to release hero shooters, you're pulling people from a lot of different games, right? And you have to do something special that isn't just I'm going to play this on the weekend and it's going to be a pretty good time. Like I'm having a good time with Marvel Rivals. It's pretty fun, but where's the long lasting like sustain of the game, you know? Like I don't see it. And some of that has to do with like esports, some of that has to do with like the hardcore community, but
Yeah, no, I feel, no, I agree with that. I thought I was gonna be the devil's advocate here because I haven't played the game and I have no interest in it for some reason. Like I don't know if it's because like I'm like, oh, this is just a game that's just coming along, or is it actually going to turn into something? Because all I've seen from like videos and people playing it, I'm like, I don't know, man. And I barely stay to watch those things because it just doesn't interest me. I don't know. Maybe I'm the bad guy. Maybe there's something wrong with me.
No, yeah, and you know, I'd like to say positive with all of it, right? I'm very happy that there's more people experimenting, but I still don't think that like
Right.
these companies have learned fundamentally what makes a hero shooter, or like what made Overwatch good, because they take a lot from it but don't like understand.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Now some of that has to do with the fact that we had Owl, and I like
Yeah.
legitimately without Owl I would not be a fan of
As
Overwatch.
competitive. Yeah. And
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, I wouldn't have grinded to Grandmaster without Overwatch League existing. And like that's the hardest part, because all like it's not just even Marvel Rivals, all these live service games, like Concord's going to be out at some point and it's going to flop because it's a bad game. But like let's say that it was a good game. Like you have to have external factors to keep people around. Do you know what
Yes.
Fortnite has? Crazy advertisement.
True.
Crazy advertisement, easy game for kids to play, cool skins that
Yeah.
they want to buy. Like I mean, like some people are like, well, Valorant has cool skins you could buy. Yeah, but a I'm not gonna say 5, a 7-year-old, I could play Valorant. Don't get me wrong, but like it's easier for them to learn Fortnite. My sister plays Fortnite, for the love of God, and when she came to visit us and she told us to play Fortnite with her, we did, and she started explaining the game to me, which was so sweet. I love her for this. But then Kirill and I started calling out stuff because we've played these types of games before. And she's like, oh, I forgot. I'm surrounded by gamers. Yes, because we don't play regular like arena shooters. But we understand how to play the game. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's fair that like Valorant skins are cool. Yeah, but also like, is it a man wearing a banana? Is it John Wick?
Oh yeah,
Is it
John Wick.
Is it BB No Money? Like
Yeah, Baby No Money. Yeah.
Like
Is it streamers that they like to watch? Like Billie Eilish is on there. Sorry.
It's things people care about
in Fortnite.
Right.
Like even I was like, man,
You did.
the
Yeah.
Yuji skin.
Yeah, you did.
Oh man, that'd be cool. And I do not play Fortnite. I do not.
So that and that's the reason why people keep playing, right? And so I think it's just interesting. Like it sucks because like Marvel Rivals is extremely fun.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm glad it's fun for you guys.
Yeah, it's a really good time, but like, yeah, the depth is taken away, and even Overwatch is doing it right now, where they're like siphoning away like what made the game interesting, and therefore it's a worse product. They don't like these games don't like try to stay in their lane enough, if that makes sense. I'm not sure what Marvel Rivals is going to do. I feel like what's going to end up happening is that it's actually going to cut more into the Paladins fan base than it is going to cut into the Overwatch fan base. But man, I'm still starved. I'm not saying that I need another game, because like the 6v6 mode came out in Overwatch.
No, Jack has been living his best life since it came out. Like,
yeah,
this man has so much more happiness.
Yeah, but like it does suck, because I want to see like another company steal from Overwatch, but do it correctly.
Because I'll support it.
They've done so much shit that's like terrible, but like somebody else could do it. I believe.
Yeah.
I think the big thing that Marvel Rivals might need to do is that they need to make sure that they are constantly interacting outside of just their game. They are in a like, I mean, it's a game about Marvel. Like people like Marvel. Just make sure that you're finding ways to draw them in to events during new movies coming out. Make sure you release new characters and skins relevant to how they looked in that particular movie.
Yeah.
Things like that. They need to be able to draw people in from the fact that they love Marvel as well. And those people will also pull in other people to play with them. And they also need to make sure that they keep their game in the way that makes people wanting to interact with it in interesting ways. Just the fact, if they remove the ability for Jeff to ult and suck up the entire enemy team and jump through Doctor Strange's portal because they think that's OP, no, bad idea. Keep it in the game. It's silly. It's funny. People will flock to that. Content creators will flock to finding these, not just like the silly combos, but the real combos, and it will create like a competitive kind of experience. They have a ranked mode.
Yeah.
You know, do something similar to Owl, do a real competition, and just keep interacting with the community. Don't just make a game.
Yes.
And that will probably lead to some amount of success, if not competition. with
I
Overwatch.
just don't know if the devs have it in them.
I mean, they
you
were
know.
like mobile devs prior.
Yeah. And I think the most difficult part, and that's my biggest criticism towards Marvel Rival after like playing through the beta so far, there is synergy. It is not as rewarding as it is in Overwatch.
Mm.
It is not like diving with a Venom does not feel as instinctively rewarding as diving in with your Winston.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that has to do with sound design. I think that a lot of that has to do with how the abilities work and how everyone's kind of a generalist, right? But I mean, that's obviously why I flock to it or Overwatch. But I will say that the individual impact you can make in a game is really, really insane. But that's also probably skewed because it's like I'm playing with like half the lobbies I play with are they're just awful. They're just so bad that I can just sit there on Iron Man and kill everyone. So I don't know if that's like a big contributing factor. I'll have to see when it actually releases and like grind ranked possibly to like really get a good feeling. But so far, I just don't really see that level of teamwork that is present, and I don't know how that's going to translate to team play based on how
Mhm.
it's designed. Because my issue with like Paladins when I hit Masters and Paladins is that like there wasn't really synergy. There was just denying other people's mains, essentially.
Yeah.
That was the game plan, is that you deny people's mains and you just sort of play your character that you like and aim, and I feel like that might be unfortunately where Marvel Rivals is, just based on its design currently. Lots of individual impact, but unfortunately no real teamwork to keep that like competitive spirit the highest.
Makes
Obviously
sense.
there'll be some things, but like
Mhm.
that's my brief thoughts on it. I am looking forward to it though whenever it actually does come out. Hopefully it fixes its performance issues.
That's the point of a beta, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, now I think this is our midway point of our podcast. And if we were a bigger YouTube channel who had friends externally, we'd probably put some ads here. Instead, we're going to give you a quick little trailer recap of the videos that we produced over the last month. And then we'll be back in a minute. Ciao, ciao.
I swear to God, if you program a score point system right now, I'm going to kill you.
I would never do that. I would never do that in a billion years. I never did that in a billion years, bro.
Got him.
I forgot about it. I
Oh,
forgot about it.
shoot.
I
Oh,
hate you so much.
Oh no, it's
Is
not
that
connected.
Ocarina of Time
Oh, God,
on
it's not
Silent
connected.
Stream?
No, that's
No, it's
Twilight
not.
Princess.
Twilight
you fucking
Princess.
uncultured
Oh,
swine.
I
God.
just try and play Tetris.
This guy thought we came here to play regular Tetris. Oh, I did not think about that, Jack. I didn't think about that at all. Just custom games. Oh, I was like,
Holy, I
they're
even
gonna
think
look
about
death
thanks.
matches at
Thanks for
least?
just saying that.
All right, folks, welcome back. I hope some of those videos look interesting and you're going to go back and click on them. Before we continue with our news and whatnot, I'm going to read out every game of higher rapport that is coming out over the next month. They are in order of them coming out. So, Operation Tango, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Thank Goodness You're Here, Tomba Special Edition, Mars 2120, The Mortuary Assistant, World of Goo 2, Fields
No
of
way.
Mystery, Fields of Mystria, CGNI All Guns Blazing, Pepper Grinder, Volgar the Viking 2, Creatures of Ava, Cat Quest 3, Deathbound, SteamWorld Heist 2, The Crush House, Arco, Rentaros, Il Rentaros Wanderings, Hunt Showdown for the PS5, apparently. I Am Your Beast, Kina,
Eh?
Bridge of Spirits, Magical Delicacy, Madden NFL 25, Black Myth Wukong, Dustborn, Mika and the Witch's Mountain, Tactical Breach Wizards, Concord, World of Warcraft The War Within, Core Keeper, Emio the Smiling Man, Gory Cuddly Carnage, Gundam Breaker 4, Monster Jam Showdown, Squirrel with a Gun, Visions of Mana, Star Wars Outlaws. You guys excited for any of those games?
Now, Scroll with a Handgun, I hear is fantastic.
Is
so
Core Keeper like is that its official release or is it just
I
another
guess so.
update?
It says PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X.
It has been
Xbox
2
One, and Switch.
years, 3 years since we
So
played
I
it
guess
last.
that's its official release. Yeah. Squirrel with a Gun, I'm excited for. I saw videos of it, I think like a year and a half ago. You're a squirrel with a gun. So like I don't know what else you can expect. I guess Hunt Showdown's getting a new release on a couple of games. I didn't know that. It's a fun game. I'm sure a lot of people are excited for World of Goo 2.
Mhm.
I'm sure plenty of people are excited for Madden NFL 25 for some reason.
Way too many
The
people are
boys.
excited.
That's the boys' game.
Ah.
I know, don't let me in.
Oh, and Star Wars Bounty Hunter apparently is being praised for not feeling like a Ubisoft game.
Oh,
cool.
goody.
So cool.
But what is a Ubisoft game without it being a Ubisoft game? What is that? What is that even like?
I don't know.
Also, is Concord supposed to? Is it that soon? After the beta? I hope not.
Concord, August 23rd. It says is its full release.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. If anyone hasn't played it, don't you fucking touch that game. Don't even give them a download. It is so bad.
Boy, howdy. Rest in peace. Great reviews from Jack here. All right, let's get back into our more news centric. I have terrible news for anyone who played on the Wii and was young and had your parent buy you games, because they most certainly bought you Sonic, Mario and Sonic, and the Olympic Games. The Olympics has dropped Mario and Sonic.
No.
Apparently, to one second. Here's a quote from Lee Cocker, a developer who worked on the Mario and Sonic franchise. Basically, the IOC wanted to bring the licensing back to themselves internally and look at other partners so they would get more money.
Oh.
Quote.
Nice.
Those other partners, quote, are NFTs and esports.
No, those together should never be a thing. Like NFTs and esports, fantastic.
Apparently, there's an officially licensed commemorative Paris 2024 NFT pin. But I do know that they have voted for esports to be included in the Olympics in the future, which I don't have a problem with.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool, actually.
I mean, that's something I've always been. I didn't even know. I remember when they mentioned esports on the Tokyo Olympics, right? I don't think I actually kept track with it, but like, I'm not sure what games they would do. I would assume it'd be like
That's
CS,
what I was just thinking about.
CS.
Yeah,
and
CS.
Stuff. Maybe speedrun.
I would
Dota.
see Super Smash Bros.
Smash Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, Dota probably.
Dota League. Yeah.
Yeah, Dota League. Apparently, they are holding their first Olympic esports event called the Olympic Esports Games in 2025 in Saudi Arabia.
Makes sense. Saudi Arabia is actually right now they're actually funding, or the last thing I heard is that they were actually giving Overwatch World Cup a lot of money.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're actually pretty involved with the esports scene. But yeah, that's interesting. I have to know what lineup. It'd be kind of funny if someone was just casually playing a game and it was like considered an Olympian sport. I'm just gonna not even try to speedrun it.
Oh man, imagine if we had speedruns.
Yeah. I would love to see cool. I would love to see a speedrun category. I don't know what games they would choose.
Games done Olympic.
Probably, Mario Brothers, the original. At this point, it's like we're almost sub 528.
It's like a science. at this point,
Yeah, but I'd love to see that, a race between people. Very cool. But yeah, I think the hardest part with the esports is that there's actually honestly so many categories in which you could like do an event.
Right.
But I guess to be fair, with the Olympics, there's a bunch of stupid sports that like I would have never thought of bringing glory to my country with.
What if the Gamer Olympics was just people who are really good at lots of games, and then they had to play all these games?
All the
Oh, they
games.
just sit you down with a random game the day of.
Yes, correct.
Oh my god.
Well, apparently there are 10 category events for it.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's going to be 10 games. Or category events, so I guess it could be in multiple different ones. But they are all mixed gender too. Teams can be male and female.
Okay,
That's good.
that makes sense.
But yeah, it's very interesting. Our opportunity for
Very cool.
Overwatch Infinite Stairs in the
That would
Olympics.
be so
Huge.
cool.
All part of the plan.
All part of
Yeah, that seems to be all the news for it so far. It was a very short article.
Yeah.
A little bit of death for the nostalgia of in my mind.
Yeah.
It's
A little
okay.
bit of joy.
I
We'll move on.
think that they ran out of mini games such a long time ago that
Yeah.
that's
I mean, they were doing it
fine.
almost every 2 years since 2007.
Yeah.
So,
Look, you can always replay them.
That's true. That's true.
Always go back. and swing
Speaking
your
of a game
arms.
you can always replay.
With the segues.
these segues, they're good. Cult of the Lamb, one of my favorite games actually.
Yeah.
Fuck, I need to get back to that. They are coming out with co-op. The problem is it's only local, but that's
Yeah.
fine. We're starting somewhere. And you guys want to know what form the second player takes?
Is
Because
it?
the first one's a lamb, right?
Yeah.
Is it a ram?
It's a goat.
It's a goat. Yeah.
And everyone's saying that the goat stands for the goatiest of all time.
The goatiest.
The goodies.
Yeah, so everyone is having like there's the tiniest bit of problem with the fact that it's only local co-op, but like I mean I'm not-
I feel like they could.
I mean I have someone to play with.
I feel like they could have done something to
yeah.
make it
Yeah.
multiplayer. I feel like it's in their ability to do something because like I had
Yeah.
the same problem with Aegis Defenders. Aegis Defenders I could only play through remote play with my friends. And
and people
I
are-
do like that game a lot.
And if you've watched your Tricky Towers video, click in the top right.
Not
You will see
consistent.
Shameless plug.
that remote play fucking sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's coming out August 13th, so maybe a co-op Cult of the Lamb video.
Yeah.
Smiley face.
Potential for the first. Should I say the name of our possible co-op
Sure.
show? Possibly the first double time.
Don't know. But I do have the trailer, and it actually looks pretty sick. I don't
Yeah.
know about you. A lot of people are wondering, like, because we know the mating part came in, and people are like, "Can you mate with each other?" Because they haven't really given out a lot of what you can do with each other. They've shown like fishing, combat. They've shown only one person be able to what the fuck is it called? Like give speech out to their cult. So I'm not sure how deep exactly it goes in sense, especially since the last like update was about, I don't know, a little bit ago. Wasn't that long ago, I don't think.
Yeah.
So people are like, so what can we do together? Because in Stardew, going back to that, you can get married together. So people
Yeah.
are like, can you get married together in the Cult of the Lamb game and be cult lovers? And people are like, perhaps.
Is this a?
So,
do
I'm
you know if this
interesting-
is gonna be the last update for Cult of the Lamb?
I'm sure they will add more. I'm sure they will add more. They haven't said anything that this is the last thing that they're gonna do. There's no hints of that, but and there is new stuff coming out with all the multiplayer stuff, obviously, but I think they'll keep going for a bit. I think it's gonna be at least a year or two before they're like, we're done with the game,
On to the next one.
on to the next thing. But I think, because I think honestly, from the stuff that we currently have, I'm like, you could add more.
They seem relatively passionate about their game.
Yes, that
So
too.
I think there's potential for it to keep going for a little while longer. And to add online multiplayer as they should, because it really is a damn shame.
Yeah,
for it to be
yeah.
that way.
That's
I mean,
the
it's not
downside.
even LAN, right? So we're not going to be able to sit on our own computers.
Nope, we have to be
Yeah.
right next to each other. So, Yeah, I'm just interested to see how it goes. Obviously, we know that it won't go great probably, but I'm interested to see it. I'm interested to see the mechanics in the game and how it changes. And poor Kirill's gonna have to deal with an L who really plays this game because I love Cult of the Lamb. I love this
That's
game.
fine. Well, we'll make it work, and I'll still be better than you somehow. So.
Oh,
What the
okay. Well, you heard it here first at the I don't know what the podcast is called, but
We're gonna count the number of deaths.
oh, okay, we
at
can
the
do
end.
that. No, I'm fine with that. We can do that.
Perfect.
I gotta get back in the game now. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh god, you're gonna.
I haven't played in a few months.
Oh god, she's gonna VOD review.
Time to
How
VOD
do you
review the
VOD
Cult
review
thing.
Cult of the Lamb?
You know, this upgrade wasn't necessary right now. We should have done this one first to get more value. And the way that my
Poor
camp's set
tarot
up,
card
if I'm
pick.
gonna put all my farms to the crops to the right top, you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mm.
But yeah,
Alright,
August
Joel.
13th, baby. Sorry.
No, you're good.
August 13th gaming. So this is when I was like looking for garbage to just put out. Because honestly, my gaming news prowess is so low. But this just happened not too long ago. Apparently, someone's suing From Software for difficulty in Elden Ring.
No way.
It's real. There's an actual court date. Someone from 4chan in Massachusetts. I'll probably send over like the actual like screenshots and stuff to you guys. But yeah, September 25th, 2024 is when Bandai Namco Games enters the court for a hearing in my Elden Ring lawsuit that claims that we have only played half of From Software's games and a whole new game is hidden inside, and that it's too hard to access for even its most dedicated fans.
Interesting.
I don't even know how this works.
I mean,
don't-
yeah.
I don't even understand how you set up a lawsuit for that at all. What possible precedent could be upset for like
Well, I
to
mean,
a company?
So 1 second. We have only played half of From Software's games, and a whole new game is hidden inside, and that it's too hard to access for even its most dedicated fans.
The
Are they talking about the free DLC?
I think so.
yes. So the
So the thing that they aren't.
You're not even paying for it.
The thing
They're not
that
even paying for it.
I mean, yeah, they didn't have to pay for it, but then they're like, it's not fair that it's so hard to reach, bro.
we can't access the content.
Guys, I'm not good at a video game.
Look, I'm all for accessibility things.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
That's totally valid. But I don't know if this is like if they had a. I guess I haven't seen the outlines of their of what they sent to the courts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I mean, news outlets like to take things out of proportion and try to make people seem a little bit dumber than they are because that makes good clickability.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, do we know if this person like is talking about accessibility issues,
I
or
think
am I going to say the get good words?
I think it
Yeah.
is based on the game is too hard that the advertisement of the product, right, of being able to play the game is actually unplayable, which would be like
Oh,
you giving someone, I don't know, like a chest that you could theoretically open, but you have to take like a sledgehammer to like actually have it open. You know what I mean? Like, and you bought
Huh.
it for the like to actually put stuff in. You know what I mean? I think this what the argument is meant to be. I don't think that works I don't think that will work in a court of law. Because but it's interesting because this is the second time that Elden Ring in particular has been talked about when it comes to accessibility and like accessing its content.
I just think it's a hard game. I you know,
Yeah.
like I think that game is meant to be hard, and people play it to test their limits. I mean, the people who have already been into the DLC, I mean, they're baller. Like,
Yeah.
there are people who are beating it because they play the game excessively.
it is known that these games are hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, and even though From Software doesn't necessarily go like beat the really difficult game, like,
Right.
you know, like it is known that these games are difficult.
Yes.
And I don't have the time to dedicate to that,
No.
so I don't fucking buy them.
Correct.
Done.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the thing is. Like
I'd
I
also
don't,
argue that Elden Ring, from what I have seen, is easier than most of the other games that they've created.
yeah, I mean, I hear the boss that like the final boss of the DLC is possibly the hardest boss they've ever
Yes.
created.
Yeah.
But like, once again, that's the end of the content.
Yeah.
You
So-
want to make it big.
I am seeing that the only information that we have is this 4chan post.
Yep, which is from the screenshot that does look official, and there is an actual docket and trial date.
Yeah.
So, which means it is official. It is a real court thing that's going to happen. Now, whether or not it actually means anything is kind of up in the air. But I think that's ridiculous. I don't know how you approach that as a judge. I'm going to be honest.
Well, I mean, the statement, it's too hard to access for even its most dedicated fans. I don't think so. I mean, random streamers that don't play From Software games are getting through all this content.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like I feel like somebody who has played a ton of From Software games that doesn't do it for and only plays on the weekends, you know what I mean, should be able to achieve it. Yeah, it might take a little bit longer because it's harder content, but like they know what they need to do. They know what the play pattern of these games are. Learn when big things swing.
Yeah.
Roll at right time.
Mhm.
They'll figure it out eventually.
It does I think it does bring up a good question, though. At what point do you think that the game is poorly designed to the point where we have gotten multiple cases of not just like this, but like, what was it earlier? The fact that you're not able to pause was actually like a big
Yeah.
talking thing.
Mhm.
And I agree. I think you should be able to pause. I think that's
Yeah, I
bullshit.
agree with that.
People have a life.
Yeah. But because there are some cases in which I would argue that when the content is too difficult, I feel like it is a case for poor design. Not up to the court, right? Of you not being able to access the content. But I do think that there is a certain point in which like the game doesn't allow you to really learn because it forces you to learn so much on their terms. If that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
what my biggest problem, like, you know, when I've been writing about like the roguelike genre, is that the content isn't just beating the game once. The content is like getting to the highest difficulty. And for like 99% of the customer base, they're never going to get there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I would argue that that's okay. For like, you know, as a consumer, that's okay to like know my limits. But I would also argue that it might be poor design that prevents people from
Yeah.
like playing more of your game. Now, obviously, they still need to put a time commitment in it, right? But yeah, I've always found stuff like that kind of difficult to talk about, like the overall difficulty and how accessible things are. I would rather games have players play it on their terms because I think that's a better way of expressing like gameplay design.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know what you guys think about that, because are there any games that you've quit strictly because it was too difficult?
I'm really
I
trying
mean,
to remember that. I quit Baldur's Gate for a while because of that one boss, and I don't even remember what it is now. But I like took a month break.
Yeah.
I want to make this very clear before I get absolutely roasted in the comments. I appreciate these games and know that they are good, but I just do not have the patience for
Yes.
walking back to my dead body.
I agree.
Dark Souls 3 did not enjoy getting destroyed so much.
Yep.
I don't need a power trip to have fun, but like I need to feel like I have any amount of power in my hands. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right.
And then I don't know if it's because it was too hard. The first time I died in Hollow Knight, I just quit and never went back.
Oh my.
Rough.
Because I didn't entirely. This might have been a little bit of ADHD. I didn't take the time to figure out what was the punishment for dying while your like soul was still flowing around if you hadn't gotten it back yet.
Mhm.
And I wasn't interested in finding out. It was far away. It took a while for me to get to where I was going, and I was not prepared to go back and fight that. And so I just said, yep, I think I'm going to drop this game for now. And the for now has been about 2 years long.
Yep.
How's Silk Song looking?
Someday, some year.
Someday. So yeah, I've dropped games because they're too hard, but I recognize that generally those are games I just do not enjoy.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Enjoy enough to
So-
push past it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I that's gonna sound silly, but like the Impossible game and
Yeah.
like Geometry Dash,
Yeah.
love those games. You know, it's not about difficulty; it's about the way that difficulty is presented.
Mhm.
And I just, I don't know, I couldn't do those. I couldn't do those.
I agree.
I think it's interesting. I guess like my last point on this is that this is kind of something I bet game designers actually think about. I was talking to Bone. I really wish Bone or Xylon was here because I think we've talked about game difficulty, and but like Bone intentionally plays at the hardest difficulty because most games, and I have experienced this also playing most games, they're kind of baby mode. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
when you think about like a general enjoyable time with a game, they are manufactured to not be that hard.
Mhm.
You know,
yeah. I usually play second from the top is what I
Yeah, second from
normally
the
go
top.
to, because I feel like normally that is the way the game was meant to be experienced, rather than, you know, with the exception of like games that are like super mega, you get one shot at enemies, have 5,000% more health, their projectiles move 2,000 times faster. Like I don't really count those levels, but
Yeah.
like the middle one or just above the middle one normally I find gives me maybe not enough a challenge. I mean, Titanfall 2 I played on the hardest difficulty because I knew that the campaign was going to be a cakewalk,
yeah.
no matter what, and still be an enjoyable experience.
hmm
So
Yeah, I wonder at what point do the devs have to think about like From Software has built a reputation for having a hard game, right? But I still think it's fair, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I wonder if like because of this exact situation of games being too difficult, quote unquote. I still just think that this guy is bad.
Yeah.
But I wonder how much of that like has limited design from different companies for this exact fear. Because like the reason why Nintendo games aren't honestly that difficult, it's because of like this. Like you want them to be accessible. Like Mario's the perfect amount of difficulty. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's never too difficult. Most people can get through it. Yeah, you might have some setbacks, but like once you've played through it, you got it pretty much for the
Yep.
rest of your life.
I mean, I've seen, I can't for the life of me think of the name of any of them right now, but I've seen games that were claimed as too hard right at the beginning, and then they just fixed it.
Yep.
They just tuned some things back, and then I think risk taking is welcome.
For the king,
You know,
too difficult for dumb reasons.
so too difficult for dumb reasons.
Yeah,
So I got to go back and play that.
yeah, we do.
But yeah, it's not. I don't think there's a problem with something being a little bit too difficult at the beginning, as long as you show a dedication and willingness to fix it. Because if you fix it, enough people will start playing it again to pull back those people who are like, I'm doing this shit.
hmm
So I feel like taking risks is a healthy thing.
More games need to be slightly more engaging. There's enough games out there that are like brain dead. Every mobile game
Mhm.
that we all play, like in on lunch breaks, right? Like, you do that.
Hell, Call of Duty multiplayer, shut brain off, shooty.
Yeah, shooty. Yeah,
There's no problem with those games, but like, there need to be things that are more engaging
in
Mhm.
general, yeah.
and such. Anything else to add?
I'm
No.
good.
All right. Well, I think this probably reaches the end of our first blank podcast, whatever it is.
Why is it censored?
Go down. Well, just the B podcast.
Podcast.
Friends, head on down to the comments. Let us know if you have any ideas for how to name this. Like, it's kind of a news podcast, but also it's kind of just us talking about things that have happened recently in games. So if you think you have any fun ideas for that, put it in the comments. We might grab it. Who knows? You could become an eternal part of our history. Thank you ever for joining. Hopefully we're going to be doing this monthly. And check out our other vids. Hang out in comments and just chat, and we'll probably respond to you, where we pay attention to every comment that gets dropped. Y'all have a fantastic day. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.